With the Oscars coming up, it's time for my annual predictions for what I think will win at the ceremony. While some categories feel fairly locked, others are up in the air, which always creates a lot of excitement. Best Live Action Short is usually the category where I tend to throw a dart and hope the prediction pans out. This year is different in that The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is likely to win due to its high profile, and it gives the Academy a chance to finally give Wes Anderson an Oscar. Honestly, him winning his first Academy Award in the live action short category feels like the most Wes Anderson thing he could do. The other short categories are still tricky though, and could go to any of the films. In Best Documentary Short, the ABC's of Book Banning is the most topical of the nominees, so I'm predicting that one. As usual, Best Animated Short presents a variety of stories and styles, with each tackling specific topics. War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko, has been getting a fair amount of attention, and recently won the Annie Award for Best Animated Short, so it has a good chance. However, I'm going to predict Letter to a Pig, a short about the Holocaust, which has won several prizes at animation and film festivals around the world. Meanwhile, the topicality of 20 Days in Mariupol will likely lead to a win in Best Documentary Feature. The big question heading into the ceremony will be how many Oscars Oppenheimer will win, as it continues to win at almost every industry award show and is the clear favorite in several categories. Two categories I think Oppenheimer will definitely win are Best Film Editing and Best Cinematography, and that'll probably not be the last time I say that. Best Production Design and Best Costume Design share the same 5 nominated films, and both categories appear to be a close race between the fantastical Victorian-era world depicted in Poor Things and the Mattel-inspired pink environments of Barbie. They have a lot of elements in their favor, and we could see a single film win both, or they could split those categories. I'm predicting Poor Things to win Best Production Design, as that category has a history of awarding these kinds of sets, while I think Barbie will win Best Costume Design for the recreation and spin on the famous doll outfits. But they could also swap. These two are definitely among the most exciting categories of the night. One category that is very easy to predict is Best International Feature. The Zone of Interest is also nominated for Best Picture, which always puts a film at an advantage here. It would have made for an interesting race if Anatomy of a Fall had been nominated here, but France did not submit the film. Probably the hardest category to predict is Best Visual Effects. You can make a case for and against any of these nominees. Recently, it's become common for the most prestigious film to win here, as Academy voters tend to pick the film they like the most, rather than the movie with the most noticeable visual effects work. In this case, Napoleon is the prestige pick, but unlike previous winners like Hugo, First Man, and 1917, this is not exactly a movie people seem to love. Godzilla Minus One has become a crowd pleaser, with a lot of attention towards how they accomplish the visual effects in its reported budget, which could help it win. Dead Reckoning Part 1 is surprisingly the first Mission Impossible movie to be nominated for any Oscars, and voters could use this as an opportunity to honor the franchise. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 could also win the first Oscar for Rocket Raccoon and Friends. Finally, much like Godzilla, the creator was acclaimed for the effects it pulled off and the budget it had, with some saying it should be used as a model for Hollywood as budgets for big blockbusters continue to grow. As you can see, it's a wide open contest, and I've been scratching my head ever since the nominations were announced, trying to figure out what could take this. I'm predicting The Creator, but your guess is as good as mine. Best Sound is another category I think Oppenheimer will win, although I would not entirely count out The Zone of Interest, which has been acclaimed for its use of sound to depict atrocities occurring right next door. Barbie's best shot at taking something home is in Best Original Song. I'm Just Ken became widely memed, and for many was the comedic centerpiece of the film. What holds it back is that the Academy does not have a history of awarding purely comical songs. The Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell tune, What Was I Made For, is closer to a traditional winner and was seen as the emotional high point of Barbie, so I think that will take home the Oscar. As for Best Original Score, this is another Oscar I predict Oppenheimer will win. Best Makeup has the expected assortment of old age makeup and turning actors into well-known historical figures. I initially thought Maestro would win here for transforming Bradley Cooper into Leonard Bernstein at various points in his life. However, I'm now predicting Poor Things, primarily for the work done to make Willem Dafoe look like a scarred surgeon and Emma Stone into a dark-haired woman discovering the world. Best Adapted Screenplay is another category that could go to any of the films. Barbie has its comedy and social satire, Poor Things has wit and imagination, and Oppenheimer could triumph here for its depiction of historical events. I'm going to predict American Fiction, which has been acclaimed for its commentary and humor. That it won the BAFTA for Adapted Screenplay, despite being its only nomination there, is telling. For a while, The Holdovers seemed the most likely to win Best Original Screenplay, as that's the sort of character and dialogue-driven film that often wins this category. However, Anatomy of a Fall has been drumming up support, and the screenplay seems like the place where voters will honor it. Best Animated Feature appears to be a close race between The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If Academy voters want to give Hayao Miyazaki another Oscar, that would help Boy and the Heron, and it winning the BAFTA shows there is industry support for the film. Meanwhile, Across the Spider-Verse won the Producers Guild Award, which is an even better predictor for this category. Both films have strong chances, but I'm predicting Spider-Man to triumph in Best Animated Feature again. With the acting categories, 3 of them look pretty safe. Divine Joy Randolph has been sweeping through award season for performance in The Holdovers and should easily win Best Supporting Actress. Robert Downey Jr. has similarly been doing the same for his work in Oppenheimer, and so it would be a shock if anyone else wins Best Supporting Actor. Cillian Murphy winning the BAFTA and SAG Award for Oppenheimer also makes him a good bet to take home Best Actor. I know there was some speculation that Paul Giamatti could potentially grab a win for The Holdovers, but it looks like Murphy is taking it. The real nail-biter in the acting races is in Best Actress. Emma Stone is getting a lot of attention for showing a transformative turn in Poor Things, and she did win the BAFTA. However, Lily Gladstone has also been equally acclaimed for subtle and affecting work in Killers of the Flower Moon, and she won the SAG Award. And it should be known that Gladstone was not nominated by BAFTA for some reason, so they were not competing against each other there. We won't truly know who the winner is until the envelope is opened, but I'm going to predict Lily Gladstone. What is a foregone conclusion is Christopher Nolan winning Best Director for Oppenheimer. He is the clear favorite, as is Oppenheimer for Best Picture. It's not often these days for the presumed early frontrunner to maintain that momentum through the entire award season, but it looks like the story of the father of the atomic bomb has accomplished that. I guess we'll see how much I got right when the results are revealed at the ceremony. See you next time.